Hey, how's it going everybody? It's been a while since I made a devlog update, and I figured I'd make one just to let everybody know what's been going on. I haven't made one since Summer Next Fest, which I'd say went pretty well. Ended up getting a couple thousand wish lists, which put us over 10,500 now. One of the more difficult and nerve-wracking aspects of doing Steam Next Fest was the 2 live streams that I've had to do to show off the game demo. The stream peaked around 650 people watching the gameplay, and it was kind of fun going through the demo and talking about how I went about making it. But after Steam Next Fest, production had to slow down a little bit. First, I had to help my mother recover from her hip replacement surgery, after which I had a bit of an adventure with my ADHD medication. I tend to work long hours and into the night, but one night I was working late and I was sculpting this zombie, and all of a sudden my heart went. My heart rate shot up to 105 just sitting down and 140 standing up. I felt super lightheaded, and I just laid down by my desk on the floor and see if it goes away. Which it didn't, so I had to make my way to the emergency room. Luckily, they admitted me pretty quickly because it was related to the heart. They ran an EKG on me, and they said that I have atrial fibrillation. They described it to me as an electric storm that caused the heart to beat arrhythmically. And the doctor comes in, and he's like, okay, well, you got 2 choices. One, we can give you some medication that will take a lot longer to take effect, and the longer that you are in AFib, the higher risk you have of having a stroke. Or we put you to sleep and we shock your ass. Well, not your ass, but your heart, which works around 90% of the time. And I was like, okay, but what happens to the other 10% of the time? You just die? He's like, no, you just remain in AFib. I was like, okay, well, go ahead and shock me then. And the doctor was like, okay, well, we got something to put you to sleep that is like awesome. It goes super fast and then it's out of your system really quickly and you won't remember anything. So I remember everything. I forgot what the stuff was called that they injected me with, but they injected me with the stuff, and they asked me, so, where are you from? And as soon as I started answering, it all went dark. I felt like I was dreaming for a while, and then all of a sudden, I dreamt that my 1-year-old son made of lightning elbow dropped on my chest from the top ropes, and I was back in rhythm, and I got a nice electric burn on my chest afterwards. And so then I decided to kind of take it easy a bit, and I was no longer able to take my ADHD medication. And so that's been what's going on with me personally. Since then, I've been working on several levels. One is a catacombs level, which is the dumping ground for the king's failed experiments, and I've also been working on a swamp level where a battle took place between the Mad King's forces and the ancient fish people that worship the Unseen Ones. The Unseen Ones being the creatures from another dimension that the Mad King accidentally brings forth to our dimension. The other level that I've been working on takes place in the nightmare of the court jester. You come across the jester's body and you get sucked into his dream, which I think gives me a lot of opportunities to test out really crazy ideas. I don't want to spoil too much about the other 2 levels, but here is a montage of the catacombs. One of the mechanics in the swamp is the thick mud that prevents the player from dodging and running. One of the enemies in this level is the melted zombie, which comes in several varieties. One that crawls, one that spits acid, one that throws a skull, which you can break, and faster ones that chase you. I also got these piranhas that chase the player either by swimming low or making these high jumps, which make it a little bit more difficult to hit them. One of the obstacles in this level are these skull totems, and when you get close they shoot an energy blast, so you best be out of the way when it does it. I also got these swinging balls Unlike the first level where the chain had spikes on them so you wouldn't be able to jump through them, these ropes you can jump through. I also have these wheels that when you shoot them it raises the spiked obstacle in your path. And when you combine that with enemies coming after you, it definitely makes for a tense situation. And the last thing I wanted to show is a bit of a clip from a mini boss from this level. And that's about it for this devlog. Really appreciate everyone watching and keeping up with the project. I also really appreciate all the feedback that I've gotten from every player that's played the demo, as well as everyone that uploaded their footage of their gameplay. That was actually very helpful. Not only was it helpful in seeing which parts were a bit more difficult than others, but also the types of audiences that the difficulty of the game resonated with. I've seen people upload gameplay from all over the world, including Japan, Korea, and Thailand, as well as the US. And one thing that I think it kind of confirmed something that I've kind of believed from the very beginning was that this game was definitely going to be a niche game. Not everyone will have the patience to deal with the difficulty of this particular game. And it seemed like the ones that were actually able to beat the demo were people that have played old school retro style games, as well as arcade classics, which is definitely not going to be for everyone. At some point soon, I'd like to make a video talking about some of my findings on different kinds of easy modes in some notoriously difficult games, because not all the games handle difficulty in the same way. And so I'll have that video up early December and finish up the year with one last devlog also in December. And one thing that I've definitely learned from this whole experience so far is that having heart issues does not make you better at making endings.